and you must be looking me right now in the vertical orientation. People who are watching in mobile phone would be feeling comfortable watching this live stream. So watching in desktop, probably the view is a little bit. Mobile phone would be feeling comfortable. Okay, so you're receiving my audio. That's all I wanted to check on my computer. That's good. And also want to make sure my timing for the live stream is going good. Okay, so let me keep it this way. Let's go to the game. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring you to Skate Jam game. Okay, Skate Jam game was pretty awesome for us to time and to talk about the tech and and all fun to be had together. Unfortunately, I don't have that liberty this time, so I bring you to Rush-Xtreme. Okay, let's go and play this game. So, what is the tech we want to discuss today? Especially myself, I want to talk to you guys about which computer system is good for AI and which computer system is good for general purpose video editing machine. Okay. By general purpose, what do I mean? I mean by people who are generally content creators and who are looking for a machine which can do both. Okay, which can do AI stuff, which can do all the content creation like video editing, a little bit of 3D, little bit of compositing, little bit of image editing, little bit of AI image generation, video generation, agentic AI, automating stuff, writing code, creating apps. Those are general purpose. But on the other hand, when you're talking about the dedicated AI machines, we are talking about people who are AI developers. Okay, so they create huge agentic automation tasks for various companies, various logistics problems, and then they actually integrate every automated agentic AI things and combine them to one AI agent, and deploy that for the field work. Okay, they are core AI developers. Okay, so that's what we wanted to discuss. So we are talking about general purpose machine, which is for content creators, and for a machine for people who are dedicated to AI development. Okay, so in this regard, we have nothing much between the machines. Okay, we have Linux, we have Windows, we have Apple computers. Okay, so in the field of content creation, to my knowledge, 90% of the people are into Mac and Apple computers, and that is more optimistic point of view for content creation. But people, I would say, like around 60 to 65% are more inclined towards Apple computers, and rest of the 30% are inclined towards Windows computers, and rest of the 5% are inclined towards Linux computers. Okay, so today's comparison is more into Apple computers and Windows computers, and Linux computers are anyways specialized computers dedicated for people with special skills. Okay, I'm not here to play this game. Why I'm being given this? Okay, we are in the promise of playing Rush-Xtreme. Okay, that's the ad which came between Rush-Xtreme. Okay, so we have the choice between Apple machines and Windows machines. Okay, because when you consider general purpose content creation or completely thorough AI environment, but in the field of general companies that you would find in a day-to-day life. People opt between Apple computers and Windows computers, and there are few companies which prefer Linux machines. Okay, you can't ignore that as well. Okay, but today's focus is more into Apple computers and Windows computers. Okay, if you are up for looking into content creation alone, okay, I'm a video editor. I edit images in 2D. I edit images in 3. I create image sequence in 3D, like using softwares like Blender. Then I use video editing software like Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve. Inside DaVinci Resolve, I'm inclined towards Fusion, but I also work on particle systems in the Fusion, and a lot of complications in terms of visual effects and everything. Okay, but you are categorized as a general purpose content creator. In this situation, both machines will work for you, Apple machines and Windows machines, but to your advantage in terms of power consumption, in terms of fastness in everyday task. You will find Apple computers to be proving a little bit better than Windows computers for normal tasks like image editing, video editing, audio editing, composing, or many other things. Okay. Windows machines are not slower. I mean to say, like, Apple computers handle the task much better with their unified memory and Apple Silicon architecture. Okay, and Windows computers with the dedicated Nvidia GPUs and CPU GPU architecture separately. Even if you take the Nvidia Spark, the latest chip, RTX Spark. Earlier, it used to be dedicated AI computer, which is DGX Spark. Like in those computers also, DGX Spark is a dedicated computer, but they later launched it into RTX Spark category by Nvidia as Windows machine laptops and everything. So those are also capable of doing everyday task, content creation, everything. So Windows and Apple are both capable of doing everyday content creation, but Apple has a little bit edge because of the ecosystem. Okay, because Windows machine is fully comprising hardwares from various companies, and drivers are from different companies, and all has to work with a software built by a different company, which is Microsoft. Okay, but with Apple, the hardwares are manufactured by Apple, including Wi-Fi, Bluetooth antenna, it's a processor, motherboard, display, the I/O. Everything is handled by Apple. I don't know where is that closed, but okay. So everything is Apple, so they are naturally having an advantage for all these tasks to make things faster. Okay, unlike the Windows machine, wherein like it is depending upon every other manufacturers. Okay, so Apple has a slighter edge for everyday tasks. Okay, what I'm here to say. But if you're into creating Blender 3D particles, cloth animation, and more complicated animations like hair animations, then you have particles, of course, fire, fluid systems. And I used to be a FX animator, so my specialization was like Autodesk Maya Dynamics is my specialization. When I used to be a FX animator back in 2006 and 7 and 8. Okay, so FX animation, wherein like we create particles that includes debris, fire, water, all sorts of things. Okay, basically, which is particles. Okay, so in that experience, Windows machine is much more friendlier for you, more than Apple. Apple can do all these things, all these visual effects things, but it's not great in reducing the time factor between one frame to another frame of render. Okay, only 3D renders are having this gap, but when you are coming into composition, Apple can definitely compete because of the unified memory architecture. Okay, so Apple has M5 chip, M5 Pro chip, and M5 Max chip. Okay, and this is the case with Apple on MacBook Pros, MacBook Airs, Mac Mini, Mac Studio, and everything. So Apple has same chip M5 Pro, M5, M5 Pro, M5 Max for laptops and desktops. Okay, the laptop versions are slightly binned, while the desktop versions are opened up a little bit more, can draw a little bit more power, and deliver your projects. Okay, so it has all the same thing, and all the architecture for carried between the laptops to iPad to desktop computers, everything is same. Okay, CPU architecture is same, GPU architecture is same, neural engine is same, unified memory is same. Mac OS software structure is also same. Okay, so it's more easy for developers to develop apps for Mac. Okay, and which can work seamlessly well with everything and every computer, be it laptop or be it desktop computer. That's why you would find Apple MacBook with or without power, connected to power, it can deliver projects even with battery power and battery components. Okay, so that's the case with Apple. But in case of Nvidia or Windows machine in general, Windows machine have different architecture. Actually, it has CPU and GPU. Even if you take the Spark chip, it has a fusion of CPU and GPU. It has a dedicated GPU. Okay, Windows machines are always have been like things which has dedicated CPU and GPU, a dedicated GPU in particular. So the architecture is very different. Okay, so Windows architecture is very different. Okay, so a DGX Spark is a computer dedicated for AI. Okay, then you have AI workstation which has the similar architecture. Then you have the consumer desktop GPUs which is called RTX, and then you have laptop GPUs called mobile RTX. Okay, I do not know how to get over this. Okay, that is gone. Okay. Then you have the data center AI GPUs, which is called H100, B200, GB200, and you have many other varieties. Okay, so Nvidia and Windows has different architecture, and Linux, which can take advantage of Nvidia GPU, has these hardwares at its disposal for doing various tasks, AI, visual effects, and many other things. Okay, so we have very two different things happening here. Okay, Apple on one side has the same chips available on laptops, iPads, and desktop computer, while Nvidia has different GPUs available for different kind of purpose with Windows. Okay, so when you want to think about AI and AI alone, I'd say Nvidia has a better advantage compared to Apple. Okay, so Apple is very good actually. It has the unified memory and everything. Okay, so with this unified memory, I've gone 10 minutes with the game. But with the unified memory, Apple could be appearing faster. Okay, and it can do a lot of things better. Okay, but I'll tell you which one is actually faster on the based on the task that you're trying to do. Okay, if you take ChatGPT like AI, Nvidia is faster. Llama models of AI, Nvidia is faster. Stable diffusion, Nvidia is faster. Flux image generation, Nvidia is faster. Okay. AI video generation, Nvidia is faster. Okay. And then you have AI model training, Nvidia is faster. Final Cut Pro, obviously, it's available only for Apple. So Apple is faster. Logic Pro, obviously, it's available only for Apple. So Apple is faster. Xcode is only for Apple. Apple is faster. And with battery life, Windows is catching up, but Apple does an incredible job, okay, in this case. And power efficiency is also with Apple right now, because the power draw for Apple Macs desktops are very, very less when compared to the Windows machines, okay. So that also I would give it to Apple, okay. Then comes the gaming. Mac is catching up, but with all the crossover apps and everything, Xbox cloud gaming and everything, Mac is catching up. But I would say I would give this to Nvidia and Windows machines. Okay, AI research, it's still Nvidia and Windows machines. Okay. General content creation depends upon the software that you are using. So if you're using 3D softwares, I would say Nvidia. If you're using any common softwares like video editing and everything, Apple has the equivalent to compete with the Nvidia and Windows machines. Okay. So this episode is all about like defining you the purpose of content creation and being a dedicated AI guy. So which machine you need to choose. Okay. So if you are talking about VR headsets, both are doing well, but they are doing well in their own ecosystems. Okay, Apple has its MLX and Metal ecosystem, while Nvidia has its own CUDA and Tensor RT ecosystem. Okay, so they are doing great for both of them, but Nvidia has a slight edge. Okay, so it has obvious things for data scientists, robotics, and local LLM developers and everything. Yes, you can run local AIs on Apple computers, but it's not as efficient as you would find it with a dedicated GPU computer. Okay, it's good. Apple is catching up when the AI is using MLX and everything, but Nvidia is still leading in the game of AI. Okay, I can understand. Okay, so what is MLX? MLX is developed by Apple to run on Mac OS. Okay, using Metal and dedicated only for Apple Silicon. It's good for AI training, AI inference. It's open source. Okay, it's easy to learn and it's still growing. Okay. If you go for Nvidia, the CUDA technology is excellent, and its libraries, its proprietary softwares, tools, open source things available are extremely good. Okay, but you have quite a bit of learning curve in terms of Nvidia's architecture, and Nvidia is the industry standard. Though it consumes more power, Nvidia still remains the industry standard. Apple is still catching up with the AI game. Okay. I've been talking so much. I don't know how much you are grabbing on what I'm saying. Okay. So how much minutes have streamed? I don't know. Let me refresh the page and just check if I have been streaming. I'm streaming for 18 minutes. Okay. Cool. I'll pass this video on my desktop computer. Okay. So, what you got to do is find your purpose. Okay. So, if you want to remain as a general person, wherein you want to create 3D content for, social media, the vertical reels, and horizontal videos for YouTube and other platforms, Nebula, Vimeo, and many other platforms. Okay, when you want to create videos for those things, or you want to be a dedicated AI guy who does, AI image generation or video generation for people to tell stories, or like you have other tools which are based on AI and you only use AI stuff, part of video editing, even though it is part of video editing, but you only do AI related jobs. So you got to define yourself, like what you want to do. Okay, if you're a content creator guy, if myself kind of guy, I play video games. I do live streams like this, playing video games. Okay, I video edit. I do audio editing. I do sound design, and I at times use the music available, ready-made music available from GarageBand. Okay, and I write the script for the videos. I kind of create my own content, upload it, and I expect some good results and wait for my channel to monetize and make some money. Okay, I've been working hard. I've been putting videos for 9 years. Please kindly support. I need this monetization. Okay. So if you're my kind of guy, okay, so you might want to choose wisely between Apple and Windows or Nvidia. Okay, because Nvidia is going to consume more power, but it's excellent with its job. But if you're going to be only video editing guy, not the AI guy, choose Apple and Apple related products, or light Windows gaming machines, or Nvidia based Windows machines. Okay, even Snapdragon has huge computers for Windows. Okay, but if you're more into AI, agentic AI generation, AI developing thing, I would suggest you to go for Windows. That's all I wanted to say in this episode. There is quite a bit of technical details that just need to be shared. Like we're talking about technology, and the Nvidia itself is a very huge topic to discuss. Okay, so I just gave you a very overall picture. Okay, so hope it was useful, and we had some gaming, and it was vertical orientation. Sorry, I couldn't come in horizontal orientation. There is a problem between Motorola Edge 60 stylus and YouTube app on Motorola Edge 60 stylus. Yes, it's updated Android 16 only, but what happens is like YouTube app is not sensing the horizontal orientation. So because of which I couldn't go and play a screencast my phone for horizontal orientation. So that's where the struggle was, and that's why I was going for live stream a little late today. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Choose wisely between what computer you want to choose, and what you want to be, and what you want to present to the world, and spend your money wisely. Bye. I'm Srinivasan, a fine art photographer, long distance skater. Alien K here, signing off. Bye.